Hello students, in this presentation we are going to discuss about important topics related to workshop activities of unit number 2.2. We are going to cover the topics such as compound words, collocations and finite and non-finite verbs. After watching this video, you will be able to identify compound words, you will understand the meaning of collocations, and you will be able to gather basic information about finite and non-finite verbs. Let's discuss about compound words first. A compound word is made up of two or more words. Two words are put together and a new word is formed. For example, teapot. This compound word is made up of two words, tea and pot. There are many ways of making compound words. A few ways are given on next slides. Compound words can be formed putting two nouns together. For example, snake bite, plane crash, amusement park, biscuit factory, sportsman, batsman. Note that some compound words are hyphenated words like snake bite, whereas some are written with a space like plane crash, and some are put together and written as a single word like sportsman. The other way to form a compound word is putting a gerund with a noun. For example, filing clerk, managing director, traveling salesman, rolling pin, steering wheel, hearing aid, melting pot, launching pad. All these words have a gerund first and a noun later. The third way to form a compound word is putting a noun and then a gerund. Example, book binding, fault finding. Here, noun comes first and then a gerund to form a compound word. The fourth way to form a compound word is adjective plus noun. Here are some examples. Cold cream, small talk, wise clerk, acquired taste, chartered accountant. All these compound words have an adjective first and then a noun. The fifth way to form a compound word is a participle, that is present participle with ing, and a noun. Here are two examples like drinking water, punching bag. Now let us discuss about collocations. Collocations are words that frequently occur together. For example, look at these greetings. Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. The words Merry and Christmas, they always go together, like the words Happy and Birthday. If I interchange the words and say Merry Birthday or Happy Christmas, it will sound very odd. In this way, the words that often go together, they are called as collocations. Collocations are not formed on the basis of fixed rules, but by the frequent occurrence of certain words together. It means there is a difference in collocations and compound words. Compound words are two words put together to form a new word, whereas collocations are words of the combination of words which always go together. Here I have tried to put some common examples of collocations. Idle pastimes, common folk. Students, don't you think that these words often go together? there is a pair of such words like successful hand, full splendor, everyday things, saturated fats, mammoth task. The task that is huge to accomplish, we always call it as mammoth tasks. So in this way, the words that always go together may be a phrase, may be a combination of words, they will be called as collocations. Now let us discuss the third part of this presentation, that is finite and non-finite verbs. Verbs are classified into finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Finite verbs change their forms according to the number and person of the subject and according to the tense. It means finite verbs are limited by the number or person of the subject. Let's have some examples. I read newspaper every day. Here, the subject is first person singular and the verb is in simple present tense, that is read. Now look at this sentence. If I change the subject making it as third person singular, the verb changes its form though the tense remains the same. He reads newspaper every day. And if I try to put this sentence in a different tense, again the verb will change its form. She was reading newspaper last evening. In this way, finite verb, which is the main verb in the sentence, changes its form when the tense gets changed or when the number and person of the subject gets changed. Now let's discuss non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs do not change their forms according to the number and person of the subject and according to the tense. It means non-finite verbs are not governed by the subject, number or person. We can say that non-finite verbs are actually infinitives, gerunds and participles. Now let's have few examples of infinitives. It is wrong to steal. She needs to practice a lot. The king decided to discuss the matter with his council. In all the above sentences, the verbs to steal, to practice, to discuss, they may not change their form even if the subject gets changed, even if the tense gets changed. Now let's have examples of gerunds. I enjoy swimming. She did a lot of shopping. My hobby is painting. Here the words swimming, shopping, painting seem to have ing at their end, but they are not verbs. Here they are functioning as nouns. They are gerunds. So if we change the subject of the sentence or if we change the tense of the sentence, these words will not change their form because they are non-finite verbs. So I have a hint for you. A gerund is actually a verbal noun. It looks like a verb but it functions as a noun. Now I'll give you some examples of participles. The retired officer went for a walk. The disciplined student was awarded in the assembly. Now look at these words, retired, disciplined. These words have ed at their end and they are past participles. But here they are functioning as adjectives. The main verb in the sentence, first sentence, is went, and the main verb in the second sentence was awarded. So these are the participles, past participles, and they are non-finite verbs. We have present participles also. This is an interesting book. He gave me his most appealing smile. Here, the word interesting, appealing, they are the examples of present participle. They are functioning as an adjective here. In these words also we find that ing is there at the end, but they are not gerunds because gerunds are verbal noun. Gerunds, though carrying ing, they function as a noun. But in these sentences, words like interesting, appealing, both of them function as an adjective. So, present participles may function as adjectives. In this way, we tried to cover 3 important topics required for you to write answers of the workshop activities. I hope you understood the topics. Thank you.